It starts in the quiet, not with a bang, not with a dramatic moment, not even with pain. It starts in the silence. The kind that lingers when your alarm goes off before the sun even thinks about rising. In that silence, you hear it. That soft, familiar voice that tells you, you can stay in bed a little longer, one day won't hurt. It sounds like you. It is you. But it's not the version of you that wants to win. It's the version of you that wants comfort more than growth, security more than greatness. That version, the one that whispers when things get hard, when you're tired, when the odds seem stacked, it's the real enemy. Most people think the struggle is out there. The boss who doubts you, the bills piling up, the critics who talk, and the friends who vanish. But that's not where the war is. That's not where victory begins. The war is you against you. And that war starts every single morning. Before you check your phone, before you talk to anyone, before the world even knows you're awake. There's a voice trying to pull you back down, back to who you were, back to easy, back to average. That voice? It knows every one of your weaknesses. It knows your fears, your failures, your past mistakes. And it will use them, all of them, to stop you from becoming who you're meant to be. It tells you you've done enough. It tells you this isn't worth it. It tells you, why keep fighting if you're just going to end up in the same place? But let me ask you this. When did quitting ever lead to peace? When did playing small ever bring fulfillment? When did ignoring your potential ever feel good? See, there's a reason that inner voice keeps talking. Because the old version of you doesn't want to die. It wants to survive. It wants control. It wants to keep you in the box it's built for you. A box made of excuses, comfort, and self-doubt. But that box? It's a coffin for your greatness. You have to kill that voice. Not with anger, not with rage, but with action. Every time you get up when your body says no, every time you do the work when no one's watching, every time you silence that voice with discipline, you chip away at the weaker version of yourself. And here's the truth they don't tell you. No one can fight this battle for you, not your coach, not your mentor. Not your parents, your friends, or your followers. They can cheer, they can support, but they cannot win it because this is your war. And only you know what victory really looks like. Only you know what you're running from. Only you know how hard it really is. To keep pushing when everything in you screams to stop, but you're not here to be comfortable. You're not here to play it safe. You're here to evolve, to grow, to become something so powerful that the old you wouldn't even recognize who you've become. That doesn't happen by accident. That doesn't happen with hype or hashtags. It happens in the dark, in the lonely hours, in the sacrifices no one sees. It happens when you choose progress over pride, discipline over dopamine, purpose over pleasure. This war isn't pretty. There are no medals, no cheering crowds, just scars, mental, emotional, sometimes physical. But those scars, they're proof you were brave enough to face the enemy and strong enough to keep standing. So, next time that voice starts speaking, don't argue with it, don't negotiate, don't even acknowledge it, outwork it, outlast it, outfight it. Because this war won't be won in a single day. It's a campaign, a battle of inches. Every choice is a bullet, every decision a weapon. And every action, every single action is a vote for the person you're becoming. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. Again and again and again. Until the old you stops showing up at all. You want to change your life? Start with this. Silence the excuses. Embrace the grind. Own the war inside, because you are the battleground, and today you win. You want change. You say you want success, you dream of more money, more respect, more power, more peace. But here's the question that separates the dreamers from the doers. What are you willing to suffer for? Because no one tells you this when you're starting, but comfort has a cost. And that cost is everything you're meant to become. You see, comfort is seductive. It tells you to take the shortcut, to stay quiet when you should speak. To stay put when your soul is begging you to move. It tells you to relax, to take it easy, to treat yourself. And before you know it, you've spent years waiting for the right time, living the same day over and over, calling it a life. But greatness doesn't grow in comfort. Excellence doesn't bloom in ease. And legacy? Legacy is built in the struggle, in the decisions that hurt now but pay off later. You think you're choosing rest, but you're really choosing regret. You think you're preserving your energy, but you're wasting your potential. You think you're safe in the familiar, but the truth is, you're stuck. People act like time is infinite, like they can afford to wait. They say, one day I'll do it, one day I'll chase it, one day I'll change. But one day isn't a guarantee. Someday is where dreams go to die, because the clock doesn't stop. And the version of you who could have been something great, he's fading right now with every excuse you make, with every workout you skip, with every project you put off, with every time you say, I'll start tomorrow. Here's the brutal truth. Comfort will kill more dreams than failure ever will. Failure teaches, comfort numbs. Failure pushes you forward. Comfort keeps you still. Failure shows you what you're made of. Comfort makes sure you never find out. You think staying comfortable protects you, but it doesn't. It cages you. It locks away your potential. It surrounds you with softness and sells it as peace. But deep down, you know that's not peace. That's quiet desperation. You ever notice how you feel worse when you do nothing? You ever lay in bed having skipped the gym, skipped the grind, and feel a pit in your stomach? That's your inner warrior screaming. That's your potential grieving. You weren't built to coast. You weren't designed to hide. You were born to climb, to fight, to stretch, to grow, but growth hurts. It's supposed to. That's the price. Muscles tear before they strengthen. Skin breaks before it heals tougher. The mind breaks before it gets sharper. So stop asking for easy. Stop praying for comfort. Start demanding challenge. Start hunting discomfort like your future depends on it, because it does. Every time you choose the hard path, the early morning, the long session, the honest conversation, the painful reflection, you're casting a vote for the future you want. You're killing the version of you that settles. You're proving to yourself that you run your life. Not fear, not doubt, not laziness, not convenience. You want to stand out? Then live in a way most people won't. Train when they're sleeping. Create when they scroll. Push when they pause. Build when they break. Because success is rented, not owned. And the rent is due every damn day. No autopilot, no coasting, no off-season. You're either rising or rotting. There is no in-between. So take a hard look in the mirror, not at your face, at your decisions. Are they building a beast or feeding a coward? You can't buy purpose, you can't fake discipline. And you sure as hell can't earn pride by playing it safe. There's nothing wrong with rest. But if rest is your lifestyle, then your results will reflect that. The grind isn't punishment, it's the process. It's where you become someone who deserves to win, not just someone who wishes for it. So the next time you're faced with the choice, comfort or challenge, ask yourself this. Do I want to feel good now or feel proud later? The weak man chooses now. The strong man builds a future. The warrior chooses the pain of growth over the illusion of ease. Because deep down you already know the cost of comfort is everything. Everyone has a limit, a point where your body screams, your mind begs for relief, and everything in you says, that's enough. That moment? That's what we call the breaking point. And here's what most people don't understand. It's not the end, it's the beginning. See, the breaking point isn't when you fail. It's when you face yourself, stripped of ego, stripped of comfort, stripped of everything fake. What's left in that moment is who you really are. Most people, they run from it. The second it hurts, they quit. The moment things get uncertain, they tap out. Because somewhere along the way, they started believing the lie. That struggle means something's wrong. That pain means stop. That pressure is a problem. But pressure? Pressure is the birthplace of strength. Pain is the gatekeeper of transformation. And the breaking point? It's the doorway to everything you say you want, but have never truly earned. There will come a day, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, where nothing feels like it's working, where the weight is too heavy, where your plan is falling apart, where your vision starts to blur and you question if you've got anything left. And when that day comes, remember this. The voice that says you can't go on is a liar. It's not telling the truth. It's just trying to keep you safe. But safe isn't where greatness lives. The truth is, you're not at your limit. You're at the edge of your limit. There's a difference, and the edge? That's where it all happens. That's where transformation begins. You don't build mental toughness by avoiding struggle. You build it by leaning in, by staying when everything in you wants to run, by showing up one more time when it makes no sense to do so. You think champions never wanted to quit? You think warriors never broke down in silence? Of course they did. But what separates them is that they didn't listen to the voice that said stop. They broke, but they didn't break down. They broke through. There's a moment in every journey where the pain gets personal, where it stops being about proving others wrong and starts being about proving yourself right, where the world fades away and it's just you versus that voice in your head telling you to fold. That's the moment that defines your future, and I get it. You're tired. You've given everything. You've sacrificed more than they'll ever know, and still it feels like you're not moving. But here's the catch. The breakthrough usually comes after the breakdown. Success hides on the other side of that last rep. That last call, that one more try when you've got nothing left. You want to know the truth? Your mind quits before your body ever will. Your doubt shows up long before your failure does. And your breakthrough? It's standing just beyond the moment you swore you couldn't survive. You can train your muscles, you can build your brand. But if you never train that inner voice, if you never learn how to fight back against the impulse to quit, you'll never make it past average. You'll never see what you're truly capable of. So when you hit the wall, and you've got a choice. You can retreat, you can say, not today. You can claim you're not ready, not lucky, not strong enough. Or you can do what warriors do. Plant your feet, grit your teeth, and walk through the fire because that's what the fire is for. To burn off the weak parts. To test your resolve. To see if you're serious or just interested. Anyone can show up when it's easy. Anyone can grind when there's hype. But who are you when there's nothing left but pain and purpose? That's the real you. That's the one the world is waiting for. Not the polished, filtered, put-together version. The one who's been through hell and decided, I'm not stopping here. So next time you find yourself at that breaking point, don't panic, don't fold, smile. Because you're not breaking down, you're breaking through. And when the dust settles, when the smoke clears, you'll look in the mirror and see someone who didn't run, didn't quit, didn't fall. You'll see someone who rose. There's a battle going on inside you right now. It's not between good and evil. It's not between success and failure. It's between how you feel and what you do. Emotion versus discipline. Impulse versus intention. Comfort versus commitment. Every day, every moment, you're making a choice. To be ruled by your feelings or to be driven by your discipline. And let's be honest, feelings are liars. They shift like the wind. One minute you're motivated, the next you're drained. One moment you're ready to take on the world, and then suddenly you're questioning everything. That's the trap. Because if your life is built on how you feel, you will never be consistent, you will never be elite. You will never know what it means to wake up with fire and end the day with pride. Your emotions, they want comfort. Your discipline, it wants growth. And growth doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you had a bad day. It doesn't care if it's raining, if you're sore, or if no one else is doing it. It asks only one question. Did you show up anyway? Most people are emotional athletes. They train when they're inspired. They grind when they're hyped. But when the music stops, when the motivation fades, when it's just them and the silence, they disappear. But not you. Not anymore. Because you're done letting feelings run your life. You're done waiting to feel like it. You don't need a spark. You don't need permission. You don't need the stars to align. You just need a decision. And discipline? It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't post about itself or beg for attention. Discipline is quiet. It shows up in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the boring reps, in the uncelebrated actions repeated until they build results that can't be ignored. You don't rise by accident. You don't level up because you felt good one day. You rise because you keep showing up when every voice in your head screams to quit. Discipline is doing the right thing long after the emotion that inspired it is gone. That's what separates those who want it from those who live it. Let me ask you something. What if your emotions didn't get a vote? What if your habits ran the day instead of your mood? What if, instead of chasing motivation, you built a routine so solid that your feelings had no choice but to follow? Because here's the truth most people run from. Your future is controlled by what you repeat, not by what you feel. Emotion is temporary. Discipline is destiny. You want peace? Earn it through consistency. You want power? Train it through repetition. You want pride? Build it by choosing action over excuse again and again, no matter how you feel. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from being tossed around by every little wave of emotion. You ever wonder how some people seem unshakable? It's not that they don't feel weak. It's not that they don't have doubts or fears. It's that they made a deal with themselves. I don't quit because I'm tired. I don't skip because I'm sad. I don't surrender because I'm scared. They show up because that's who they are. Because discipline isn't something they do. It's something they are. And that can be you. It's not about being perfect. It's about being relentless. It's about becoming the kind of person who honors commitments even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. Because that's where the real war is won, not in the spotlight, not when the crowd's cheering, but in the silence, in the stillness, in that brutal moment when quitting would be so easy. And you say, not today. So the next time your feelings try to run the show, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself, I lead, they follow. Because you're not here to be ruled by emotion. You're not here to be dragged around by moods. You're here to rise, to build, to become. And that journey? It's paved not with motivation, but with discipline. You've been fighting this war for a long time. Not out in the open, but deep inside, behind the smile, beneath the routine. In the silence, when no one's watching. That's where the battle has always been, you against you, and now here you are. Bruised, exhausted, changed, but not defeated. Because no matter how many times you fell, you got back up. No matter how loud the doubt became, you showed up, you didn't fold, you didn't surrender. You didn't let comfort bury your calling. You've endured the darkness. You've silenced the excuses. You've bled in silence while others complained in comfort. And now it's time to rise. This is the moment you stop waiting for the world to give you permission. This is where the victim dies and the warrior is born. Because no one's coming to save you. No mentor, no miracle, no motivation video will do it for you. It's always been on you, and now you're ready. You've seen the cost of comfort. You've stood at the breaking point. You've tasted what it means to choose discipline over emotion. And now you become. This isn't about proving anyone wrong anymore. It's not about revenge. It's not about validation. It's about fulfillment. You're not chasing applause. You're chasing alignment. You're not interested in looking successful. You're becoming unshakable because real power doesn't scream. It radiates. And the kind of power you're building? That comes from within. From the days no one saw, the reps no one tracked, the decisions no one understood, you sacrificed, you stayed the course. You chose the pain of discipline over the comfort of regret. And now, it's your time. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You've been in the fire long enough. And fire doesn't destroy steel, it forges it. So let this version of you die. The one that doubts, the one that delays, the one that hides behind tomorrow, let it burn, and rise from the ashes as something new, something unstoppable, something real. No more shrinking, no more playing small to make others comfortable, no more waiting for the stars to align or the fear to fade. You are not your past, you are not your failures, you are not your mistakes. You are what you choose to become, and you choose to rise. That means waking up with intention, speaking with conviction, moving with purpose, loving fiercely, creating boldly, and grinding with zero apology. You're not owed greatness. You earn it. Day by day, hour by hour, choice by choice. You become it by choosing war over weakness, truth over comfort, growth over ego. You become it by doing the work when no one believes in you, not even you, and then one day, you look up, and you don't recognize the old you, the one who made excuses, the one who was afraid, the one who broke under pressure, because that person, they're gone, and what's left is a warrior, not just in body, but in mind, in soul, in discipline, someone who walks with weight, who speaks with purpose, who moves through the world not looking for validation, but bringing value. That's what this war was always about, not beating someone else, not chasing fame, not getting likes or claps or trophies. It's about becoming undeniable to yourself. So the next time you feel the pull to give in, remember who you are, remember what you've endured, remember what you've built in silence, and rise. Because no one else can do it for you. Because the world doesn't need more noise, it needs more fire, and you are the flame. So stand tall, breathe deep, clench your fists, clear your mind, and step into your next chapter like the warrior you are. The inner war never ends. But now you know how to win it. You silence the excuses. You embrace the grind. You rise and become.